Now, third part of the video, and in this session, we are going to study about the drainage patterns, river features, man-made and natural features, land use, means of transport and communication, settlements, and inferring occupation of the topographical survey sheets which are provided to you.
In dendritic pattern, the river and its tributaries make a pattern like the veins of a leaf, or we can say a branch of a tree. You can see the example in grid square 3894. In the trellis pattern, the tributaries join the main river at a right angle or almost at a right angle, as you can see in grid square 4093. In radial pattern, the tributaries come out from a hill in a circular manner. Hence, this is called a radial pattern. You can see the example in grid square 3985.
Now, the various features connected with river are many. Many questions are asked on the basis of the features connected with river. First of all, let us see. This river is dry. How can you be sure? Because you can see the river bed speculated with black dots. It shows that the river bed is exposed. Then you can see these white patches. These are known as islands. These are known as islands. Then you see some of the streams here, they are not meeting the main river. So the question may be asked that in grid's reference 9478, the stream is not meeting the main river. Why? Give one reason. Well, this is why, because there could be a limestone region, there could be a desert region where the evaporation is very high, or the water is seeped in before the river meets the main river. Hence, it is called a disappearing stream, because before meeting the main river, it disappears. Then you have the perennial rivers. Perennial rivers are where the water is there throughout the year. Perennial word means that the river has water throughout the year. But here you can see a thin water channel in the river. Thin water channel. The term used is thin water channel. You cannot say the river is perennial because the water may not be there throughout the year. Then you have inland drainage. Inland drainage is these rivers which do not go out. They are within the area but they do not meet the main river. So these are called inland drainage. The undefined stream is here. You can see these are undefined streams which are shown in dotted dash and dot dash. See, these are undefined streams. Broken ground is here in this grid square 9679 is the broken ground. What is broken ground? Generally it is found in the dry or arid region. You can see this area is arid region because mostly the sand features are there. The area is dry. And here this is there. Whenever there is rain, the topsoil is washed away and the area is left with the subsoil and very uncultivable land. It is found only in arid or dry regions. River capture and river gap. This is one of the reasons when sometimes it's connected with river erosion but may not be seen in this dry region. Dry streams are all shown in black. See, all these rivers are dry and they are shown in black. That means that the area, this whole area gets seasonal rainfall. Now, man-made and natural features. Children, generally the survey sheet contains the man-made and natural features. For example, the, the survey sheet has man-made and natural features both. You can see the streams are natural, Palmyra is natural, the dry tanks are natural, the trees in general you will see they come under natural features. Broken land comes under natural features. It cannot be man-made. But on the other hand, the metal road, the permanent huts, and the railway line, meter gauge, and all this shows that these are post office, etc. They are man-made features because they cannot be formed naturally. So all these are man-made features. Spot heights, this this trees and the river and dry tank, these are all natural features. Sheet rock here, but survey tree in black is a man-made feature because it is a surveyor's mark. Now we come to the land use. In the survey sheet you might have seen that some areas are shown in green, some are shown in yellow, some are shown in white. What do they signify? The forests are generally shown in green with the writing on top, fairly dense mixed jungle with bamboo, Devika, this open mixed jungle, dense forest. All these words are written there. So in case the question comes, what type of forests are found there, you can just state what is written there. You don't have to mention the what you study in geography as such, deciduous and evergreen and all that. No, it is just you have to state what is written here. In this case, it is written fairly dense mixed jungle with bamboo. Cultivable land, as we have discussed earlier, that it is colored yellow, and it is called yellow wash. If that is there, it is automatically, it is taken as, okay, the area is cultivable. Generally the occupation of the people is cultivation. Uncultivable land is always shown in white, where you will find open scrub, then you may find outcrop, rock outcrop, and stony land. All these firm terms would be written there. That shows that the area is totally dry and it is uncultivable. Also, the forest, the cultivable land and the uncultivable land signifies the occupation. Forest for forestry, collection of fruits, cutting of wood, then cultivation, farming or cultivation. Then here, if there is open scrub with small bushes, it is for sheep and goat rearing. Means of irrigation. Wherever there is farming, it is understood that there would be water. Now you can see in the survey sheet these small blue dots show that there is water. These are perennial wells. So in India, irrigation is normally done by these wells. Canal, in some cases the canals are also available, and it is getting its water from the artificial tank, and hence the farming is benefiting through this canal. Then you have this artificial tank with embankment is here. It is filled with water. It is artificial. It is not natural, not like this dry tank which is natural and which is just lying vacant dry. But in this there is water with embankment with 10 R, meaning that the height of this embankment is 10 meters and the water is relative height of the artificial tank is 10 meters and the water is there, so it is a perennial artificial tank. The river in this case, you can see, is speckled with black dots. showing that the river bed is exposed with no water at all. So it is a dry river, then without any water. Now we come to the settlements. Settlements are of three types. You see in the survey sheet you will see the permanent huts, the temporary huts and all that. Now there are three types of settlements. When you see the permanent huts clustered together in a group, they are known as nucleated settlement. When they are on either side of the river or a road, when the group of or cluster of these permanent huts you see on either side of the road or a metal road, it is called a linear settlement. And scattered is, as the name says, one is here, one is there, and one is there. It shows that the very few permanent huts are there with far apart, situated far apart. So these are the three types of settlements. Now the inferring occupation. The occupation of the people. Sometimes they ask the question, what is the occupation of the people in the given survey sheet? The occupation of the people in this instance is, generally speaking, the cultivation. But suppose there was annual fair there, or live, or the lime kiln is there, or brick kiln is there, or there is an annual fair going on somewhere, or there is a metal road going by, or there is a railway line crossing. So the people could be engaged in this case, people would be engaged in trade. In the case of quarry, they will be working in the stone quarry. Suppose there is a post office and a telegraph office, people are working in the post office or in telegraph office. Suppose there is a forest here, then people would be engaged in forestry or wood collection. Suppose there is a metal road, as I said, they are engaged in the trade. So the indication of presence of mines, quarries or kilns or metal road shows trade, and mines and quarries, people are working in that. Sometimes the area has stone quarries, then people are working in the stone quarry. Means of communication, as I said, there are various ways that the communication is shown on the survey sheet. As in this case, the Western Railway is shown in the corner of the map, showing that people can travel by train. There is a metal road joining places, different places in the survey sheet. It shows the area is progressive and it is well connected with different towns. So trade is promoted. Unmetal road is where it is Kacha road and people are only traveling with on the Kacha road. That is called a unmetal road. Cart track is these single lines, these red lines, these are known as cart tracks, made by man and used by bullock carts and all that. Then you have this pack tracks and footpath. You can see footpath is shown with these dots, small dots, which show footpath which is made by the foot, and it is very easily accessible. So these are different means of communication. Sometimes you see the motorable in dry season is written there. It means that the area can be accessed in the dry season, and people are able to drive through their car, or they drive through their bullock cart, or walk through that stream or river. So this shows that the area gets seasonal rainfall. Now, inference of the survey sheet is based on the careful observation of topographical survey sheet, and it is definitely the based on how familiar you are with the survey sheet. So you must go through it very carefully, study the different aspects, study the different conventional signs and symbols given there, study the various aspects or components of the survey sheet to be able to answer all the questions. Dry tanks, dry streams, and exposed riverbed with islands show that the area receives scanty rainfall. Too many causeways show that the area is motorable, hence it gets seasonal rainfall, less rainfall, scanty rainfall. Disappearing streams, if there are many, they show, we can infer that the area may be a desert or limestone topography, and hence the water evaporates before it meets the main river. The size of the town is based, suppose sometimes a question comes, which town is bigger or more important? Then it is the town is based on its important features like presence of post office, telegraph and post office, then inspection bungalow, and how well connected it is with the means of communication. So if it is well connected, it shows that it is bigger than the other towns. Comparison between the two areas. Suppose they ask, okay, you compare and contrast the north of Sipu Nadi with the south of Sipu Nadi. Now, this needs to be worked on the basis of relief, drainage, land use, size of the cities, and occupations. So, if the north part of it is fully, hilly, and very little perennial water is available, yellow color land is shown, that means, and the green part is shown, it means the area is hilly and with lot of forest, so forestry is the occupation. In the south, if it is desert area with disappearing streams, no water, no cultivation possible, and with lot of white patches, that means the area is uncultivable and dry. The student should be familiar with colors, conventional signs and symbols to be able to study the survey sheet. Unless you are familiar with the survey sheet, you will not be able to answer the questions. You can practice on the on this online practice for map skills and the topo sheets to master the subjects. Hence, self-study and practice is the key to success, to key to score the best in board examinations, since it is a compulsory question carrying 20 marks. So, it is mainly depends on how well you can practice to score the best. Thank you and wish you all the best.